Hi, and welcome to the Flute Talk podcast, where we talk about all things flute, live here on Patreon. What is Patreon? Patreon is a place for fans like you to come and support creators like us. So why not join us over on Patreon and help us continue to make great content? The Flute Talk podcast is also brought to you by the Flute Center of New York. The Flute Center of New York has the world's largest selection of flutes. If you need to buy a flute or piccolo, the Flute Center of New York has you covered. With our code TFC at checkout, you can try up to 3 to 4 flutes for up to 10 days, have an extended 18-month warranty, and free shipping worldwide. So be sure to go to the website flutes4sale.com. So that's flute4sale.com. flutesforsale.com. Just be sure to use that code TFC for all those perks, and a little bit of that does go our way. Another sponsor is, well, ourselves. We have a store. If you haven't noticed yet, we have a store over at store.theflutechannel.com. We have some shirts and posters and things like that over at Teespring. So you can definitely go there and get some merch, posters, whatever you like that we have. It will be there. You'll probably notice it under our videos. If you're interested, be sure to go to store.theflutechannel.com. That helps us out immensely. So yeah, on with the show. Hey everyone, welcome to the Flute Talk podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Amelie.
How's it going, Amelie?
It's good.
That's good.
How are you going today?
Good. Well, we have a lot of things to talk about. Specifically, we'll be talking about Prodigy students and all those things today. Yeah. And also, we have our new shirts. Those just came in, which is cool. You can get that at the store at store.theflutechannel.com. And I think we have a little, not Black Friday thing, but we have a thing until December 31st, 10% off at that store. Use TFC10. And you can go get your long shirt or get your poster. You know, a lot of people buy the poster though a lot, the fingering chart poster, which is really cool. We get a lot of people tagging us with that and showing us those things, and that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool because you have the fingerings, the trill fingerings, and the major and minor scales. I think.
Yeah. Yes, there should be scales on there.
I think so.
Scales and fingerings. Yeah.
You did it a while ago.
So I have to remember. It's not out here. I should put it up because it's been a while. And then we also have our 100,000. Plaque, 100,000 subscriber plaque, which is over here, which you could open if you want right now and show it to everybody. That'd be pretty cool. I know.
Let's do that. I want to hold it.
Yeah. There you go. But also, this is the podcast and live show that if you're watching live, please be sure to leave your comments or questions, down in the chat. If you're listening to this post show, be sure to drop us a like and go and leave a review over at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts and could leave reviews. So, hey, you opened it already. That's cool. So you got a little letter from the CEO, Susan. That's cool.
That's amazing. Look at that.
That's nice.
Presented to the Flute channel for passing 100,000 subscribers.
That's pretty cool. It's all reflective.
That's amazing. Where are we going to put it?
I don't know. But we can put it over here for right now. For people who listen, we're just going to put it above the piano. Look at that. For now.
Oh, that's nice. I like it. Yeah. Eventually, I would like to have so many things like that we can have a wall of fame.
Oh, wall of fame? Okay, that's cool. You want gold records or platinum records?
Yeah, why not?
That's cool. Oh, we have a couple albums that we're thinking about going to release next year. A lot of cool ideas. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah. And then, what else was there? That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's a great little thing. Great little milestone. Thank you, everybody. First of all, it's all because of you guys, and that's amazing.
Yes. Great community cool. And
oh my gosh, so great and always growing, and we're trying to make it a better place for everybody.
Yeah. So next step will be 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, 10 times more. Yeah, I did the math, and it would take it's going to take a long time. Yeah, take a long time. But
except
anything's
if we snowball
possible
at one point. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, snowballing is always cool. It happens to people, but
we'll see.
We're not we're grateful for everything.
Yeah,
so it's all
totally.
Good.
It's good to have goals, and it's good to be grateful about what we already have.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna canvas some questions, but we're gonna go into the topic of the show today, which is Prodigy students, and you brought up that subject, so I would like to leave it off to you.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people feel intimidated. They watch videos on YouTube of a 6-year-old who can play super fast or stuff like that. And I think we kind of romanticize that because very often we don't know children like that around us. So we think it's super rare. and it kind of is, but it kind of isn't, because there's a lot of human beings on the planet. And so there are quite a bit of those children. And in the end, they don't all do music as adults. Some of them feel forced to do music, and they stop right when they turn 18 and they can decide for themselves, because they have a lot of frustration. And some of them love it and make a career, but also there's like every life has its own suffering.
Yep.
So we shouldn't romanticize that too much, because if you're if you're a prodigy child, and I'm pretty sure getting older is a challenge. There must be an age where there's a lot of stress about getting older. I was not a prodigy child, but I was just good enough at a certain age that people were like, "Oh, you're so good for your age." I heard that at a certain point in my life. I would go in, summer festivals and stuff, and people would be like, "Oh, you're so good for your age. It's amazing." And then I was like, "Oh my God, one day my age won't be enough." And then at one point, there's other people who were not prodigies, but they come back and they get to your own level, and that's not enough. So like you lose a little bit of that clout. That must be a big point that's probably difficult, and you have to let go of some of the things. You must have a lot of stress about that. And plus, so I was just trying to think like maybe we can see it as something a bit more complete, have a more complete picture. Like every experience is different, but I think it's not as amazing for everyone as one might think, because like I said, every experience has its own lot of suffering. And so also I don't think we should feel intimidated, because everyone has their own path in life, and it's okay. And some people are like, "Oh, I can never do that," blah blah blah. But I have one student who I liked his
output or viewpoint.
He said, "Well, if a child can do that, so can I. Like, I can get to that. I can learn." And
totally.
I love that, And like adults learn very fast too.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people who are amazing in the beginning and like when they're a kid, and then they do something else. Like, there's a lot of amazing people out there that can still play and have fun playing. And that's what music is, a part of their life, not their whole life.
My piano teacher in high school.
Both are healthy.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You wanted to finish?
No, that was good. No, it was good.
Yeah. Because you made me think. My piano teacher in high school, she used to be the director of the Canadian music competition. And she said she heard a lot of those kids, who would win at the national level. And she would remember their name and search for them later. And she never found them after. So a lot of them don't necessarily make music their life. And it's okay. Maybe they're passionate about something else. But I think also... we don't know the whole picture. So, and it's cool to admire their talent and their dedication and the discipline that it takes. But also, like, personally, as an educator and a mother, I would push more towards being creative, because I think that there are a lot of people who can play very fast. But it's... like the classical music world in particular is a very small market. And so there are so many people who can do it very well, and so few that make a living out of it. That creativity, there's a little bit of luck as well involved, but creativity also is maybe something that's going to make you, stick out, and maybe... give you more opportunities and something more interesting.
Well,
I don't know. I think it's worth just revisiting our viewpoint on that subject, And adults sometimes feel that they have limitations, but I would say I taught adults. Kids, you can't explain everything to them, because cognitively they're not there to understand it.
Right.
Some theory things, but they don't ask to understand it. So it's a bit easier, because they're not there yet. You're like, I'll teach her that when she reaches 9 years old, let's say, or when I see that she can understand this thing. Adults sometimes want to understand everything at once, and they feel overwhelmed. but they can understand it usually, because they don't have that thing that they're not there yet cognitively because of their age. So, they can still learn. And yeah, I think it's also like maybe when you're an adult, you have a job, you might have a little bit less time to practice than a child who has less things to do. But yeah, you can still learn quite a bit. So that was it, but I know there are things that are more easy to learn when you're a child and all that stuff. But yeah, it was just my opinion on the subject.
No, it's really cool. And we'll leave that open to discussion if you guys want in the comments, and we'll read through them. But yeah, those are all very, like, I share the same type of viewpoint pretty much. Like, yeah.
Like, I wouldn't push my child to be that prodigy. Like, I think it's not necessarily the easiest life and the easiest transition into adulthood and all that stuff. And I would more, push towards love of music, and try to figure out who's that person instead of I want you to be that. And some children will go towards that naturally and want to practice and all that. And some others will have other ways to approach music or other subjects. And there are ways to guide them and respect who they are and be curious about who they are, because that's what we do. We get to learn who they are. Like, we discover them while they're discovering themselves as well, I don't know. That's my point. Like, That's pretty much it for that subject. I don't know what people are saying about that.
Yeah. Well, like somebody mentioned, like, people who had music in their lives but did other things, like Condoleezza Rice. She was a very famous pianist. Also, Richard Nixon was a very, very great pianist. Like, he played piano very well, apparently. And a lot of people in politics, a lot of people, doctors, lawyers, firemen, probably policemen, totally. Who knows, like so many people, we can get overwhelmed when we see people, playing so well, so young and stuff like that. And we think, oh, music can't be part of my life. But no, like, just go and achieve what you want to achieve. If that person that played that piece, it's a piece you like, maybe it's because you like the piece and not the person who's playing it necessarily and their age and stuff like that. It's just like, oh, I really love this 13-year-old or 12-year-old play Paganini Caprice number 5 or 24. You're like, I want to go and learn that. Let me see the score and like, let's see what is it really that makes it,
But
I
I
can
think
do this,
also,
like you said.
like a big part of that romanticism comes from Mozart, because Mozart was a prodigy, but Mozart was a case completely apart, because like it's not just like he was able to play, he was composing at 5 years old. He was composing operas at 11, a full opera. Like, that's something else. Like, he was ultra creative. He was not just playing fast or learning by heart or having like
some people
the creativity was amazing. So like, you can't say, oh, this child who can play fast, his instrument is a little Mozart.
No.
Because there's a creativity part as
also,
well.
some people argue that he had ADHD or he had Asperger's, or like he had this thing that he would just tunnel like himself just into that thing and just do it. He had all the skills, but he was so obsessed with having all those skills, and he had his own little world, like.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to make a
no, but I mean, like, just people are
diagnosis post.
No, but I mean, that's just theories. Like, they will never, it can't be proven, but those are theories, and that's kind of a little bit. It's a bit logical in a way that you can assume something like that eventually, because like.
But I think we have we have that idea of putting the sticker Mozart on kids very easily. Right. When like Mozart, it's something completely different. It's not just, oh, I can play this Chopin ballade. Crazy 10 years old. Like, that's very impressive and that's beautiful, but that's different from being able to compose a full opera at 11 years old.
Plus also like,
totally the creativity, how like the melodies, the harmonies,
it's wonderful. Like and it's good to cherish that. It's good to he was being very encouraged and stuff. He was in the right type of situation to be able to do all those things, and he was being pushed by his family and all those things.
Like, so his brain was being developed with all that music around him.
And like, he had Handel around him. He had, I think, Haydn was around.
Haydn was around.
Handel
was in England.
Haydn, and there was other composers back at the same time that were great composers of their time too. Like, it was a real renaissance at that time. A lot of
his dad was a composer.
Yeah, his dad was a composer. He came from a family of composers. Just like Bach, Bach's kids, C.P. Bach, he's very well
It's beautiful.
received,
But
and
you know, the Bach family, they were at least 40 professional musicians on a
40.
span of
I didn't even know that
200
number.
years.
I didn't even know the number 40. That's pretty
Yeah,
incredible.
a lot of professional musicians.
Pretty incredible.
It's yeah,
Wow.
but like, yeah, that's just
Mhm.
I don't know, because like it's a big topic. But like,
Yeah, totally.
let's say the Beatles, okay? When they started, they barely knew a few chords, and look at the career that they had.
Totally.
And you can have people who are virtuosos of their instruments who make $15,000 a year. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
because, and I'm not saying you are necessarily more happy or you're more. Success can be so many different things. I'm not, but you know what I mean. Just trying to put things in perspective.
Exactly. Cool. Yeah, exactly.
Because like creativity and doing something new sometimes can be very rewarding.
Totally.
And yeah, that's all.
Let's grab some questions now. We have some questions in the chat. It's pretty cool. So let us know, though. We can always roll back to the subject, too. And if you have any questions about that, or if you're just coming in, just leave us a comment. Or leave a comment if you're listening to this post again in the comments. Go and, if you're listening to this on the podcast and post, go to the video, YouTube video, and leave a comment. That's where we read your comments there, because you can't leave comments necessarily.
People can also give us a review.
People give us reviews, on Apple Podcasts and stuff. Also, you can leave us a voicemail if you want at anchor.fm/flute, and you can download the Anchor app, like an anchor for the boat. And that's where our podcast is, our home base, and you can leave little voicemails there. And
that's so cool. I would love that.
So that's pretty cool. I saw Sharpies. He or she, sorry. Hello, I'm a beginner flutist. Do you by any chance have any tips? What are your, we always get that question a lot, but do you always give nice little tips? What do you,
Can you repeat the question?
beginner flutist, any tips would you give for a beginner flutist?
You should get our method.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of our method.
But say like you have your flute in front of you and you're like, where do I begin? Like for tone?
Okay,
or
well,
for
like I don't know how
rhythm?
beginner. You just got your flute.
So beginner.
Okay, well maybe if you don't want to get our method, at least go and check our few little
videos. Yeah, we have our videos. We have a
about
whole
like how
series.
to make your first sounds, where to put your fingers, how to assemble your flute, like
Yeah,
at least that. Then get a fingering chart.
Yeah.
But like the method is really designed to start you from the beginning. If you already know how to read music, there's little things you can skip.
Totally.
Because I put that as
in
well.
there
I
as
put
well.
rhythm and sight reading. And so, you can skip it. But if you need it, you do it. You know,
you can find that in the description. Yeah.
There's video lessons, and it's really building knowledge one thing after the other. So, or you get a teacher.
Yeah, or get a teacher. We also have like a very good playlist, Learn Flute from Home playlist on the YouTube channel, which it's in pretty good order to start with, but you can go through the playlist and look at things and see which one could match for you. Each one are a few minutes long. Yeah. And you can learn a lot from that.
Go on flutetunes.com.
Yeah.
They have a fingering chart there.
Yep. You can go on Musigy. Musigy is where the book is, though. You can find that in the description.
Oh, yeah.
Where our course method
I
is.
think it's the easiest way, our method. And I don't know another method that has everything all in one. Because you have sound exercises, technique, you have pieces, studies. Like, I wanted to make a book that had everything in one, because when I was learning or when I was teaching, I had to make the people buy so many books, one for studies, one for scales, one for sound exercises. Like, let's put everything together and make lessons. So you have your lesson plan, you follow it, and you improve. And I've used it with beginner students, and I'm very happy about it.
So Richard Nixon also played the violin.
Oh, yeah.
Very well, apparently. I
Wow.
want to find some footage. That's cool.
Well, music is good for so many things, like discipline and
And I think we can roll into like
brain
the brain. I was about to say the brain, like the main thing I think.
I don't want to get into politics though.
No. But the main thing is like with the brain thing is so important. Like how we practice our music and how music interacts with our brain, and how we should be not over practicing and stuff, but letting our brain it works differently. How we decompress in the evening and when we have to wind down for the day, say you practice during the day, it's way different than if you read a book. Your different parts of the brain are being used than if you were reading music, and the way you decompress, they're learning this stuff now when you go to bed so that you can keep that stuff inside and retain it and have good
Well, we've
sleep
known
and
that
all those
for
things.
a while,
I
that
know.
sleep and memory are
Yeah.
linked. But also,
Totally. But the type of memory now, because like music memory is different than reading memory. They're
Okay.
noticing those things now too, like for different types of like applications and like
yeah.
how we should be more obsessed about that as much as our music is too. You
Yeah,
know?
but if you don't practice and you just sleep, you're still not going to learn anything.
No,
Like,
but
it
you still
has
have to
be-
practice. But I mean, like if you
Yeah.
practice and don't sleep well, that practice is going to start degrading.
Yeah. Well,
gotta have both.
everything in your body's going to start degrading
Yeah.
if you don't sleep well.
Yeah.
You're
'Cause there's
going to
the
have
whole,
a lot of toxins stuck in your brain
Yeah.
because your brain
Yeah.
cleanses
Yeah.
itself
That's what I
during
mean.
the
That
night.
cleansing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like, yep.
But like, also they've done research. I know there's a big laboratory here in Montreal, and they do cognitive tests on a variety of items, with musicians and non-musicians. And musicians statistically do better in all the tests.
Yeah. Totally.
And also it can prevent or push back Alzheimer's and all
exactly.
those things. And so it's super
Yeah.
good for the brain.
Yeah.
Because it uses both hemispheres at the same
Yes.
time. It makes I don't know the word in English, the middle part, the corps calleux in French.
Cochlea, I guess, or cochlea. I'm not very good with my brain stuff.
The
Cochlear. I don't know.
No.
That's something else.
no, it's the part that makes it.
The
It
stem,
makes
the
it
bridge,
more the part that's between the two
the bridge,
hemispheres.
like the bridge or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
a-
not called
no.
like that, but it makes it more.
Yeah.
It makes it bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're using both
Yeah.
sides.
And like, if you want additional, like, if you want the little edge on your playing and stuff, like I said, going back to rest again. Like you can gain 30% of, if you don't get good sleep, you lose 30% each day of retention and recall and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Get good sleep. You're going to be amazed of how good your tone is, how good your recall on pieces are, recall and all those types of things just because of sleep. Sleep
It's
is
part of
an
good
important
organization, like
Yes, exactly.
making sure you go to bed.
Yeah, make sure.
Like, it's good to make sure you practice. Let's say your goal is 2 hours a day, you do it, but also you sleep
Yeah.
your whatever time you need,
Yeah.
like 8 hours for most
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, exactly. I saw some really great questions here. Somebody said, I think it was Kush, he said, what was your first, where was it? Oh, I don't know where it is anymore. I think it was like, what was their first piece that you ever played? Oh, what is the first, piece you ever learned on the flute? That's a really cool question. Oh my gosh, it was probably like hot cross buns or something like that when I was in elementary school. Like, played something like that in the Yamaha Band Excellence book. That was like my first flute thing.
Probably the same. Like, I
then
remember
maybe
the
I played-
Yamaha
yeah.
band book.
Okay.
And then the first piece I remember really working hard on, because I had a big competition for first year I was playing the flute, was the Telemann in F major.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a good one. Mhm.
I still remember it because like I was working very hard for that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Bianca wants to know, any tips on overcoming the plateau between intermediate and advanced? Those are all really good ones. Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know where your plateau is. Is it sound? Is it technique? Is it
Well, the
vibrato? Is it that you're breathing? Like, what part of your playing do you think is making you hit a plateau?
Do you think it's maybe it's a question also of refinement? Like, is it, how refined are your intermediate pieces? How,
Yeah,
Is it that?
sometimes
I don't know.
sometimes you need retroaction. If you can't figure out what's making you hit that plateau, maybe you need someone to listen to you and try to help you figure it out. Also, a good organization of your practice time. Like, let's say you work on Tafanel and Gobert,
Right.
EJ1, and your goal is 120.
Oh, vibrato and tone is what she said.
Vibrato and tone.
The lovely
Okay.
thing about doing it live. Thank you, Bianca.
Okay. Vibrato and tone. Well. So vibrato, I don't know. Like, is it that you don't vibrate, or your vibrato is like too much in your throat, or you always vibrate the same like a robot and you can't vary the speed, or you don't know where to vibrate? Maybe listen to yourself, like record yourself and listen and try to figure out what exactly it is, and then what exercise should you work on to take care of that, you know? I know that when I started recording myself and listening in with my music and write notes, you know, of what was good and what was not good, because it's important also to write what's good, because you don't want to lose time on that anymore. And you want to feel confident about that part. So you can be like, oh, as if it was someone else, as if it was a student. You want to encourage them. So you do the same thing. And then that and tone. Yeah. Tone, do a lot of long tones, tone colors, like playing loud and soft. Play with your tuner as well, because I feel that it's not just a feeling, like tone and intonation. Yeah, associating. They go together. And so if you play in tune, I mean, your tone will sound more centered. Yeah. And yeah, play with your tuner to see the tendencies of your instrument and your tendencies. And also sometimes just put a drone, which is just a note that's being held. Let's say you're playing in F major, leave a F. Yeah. And try to be in tune with it, you know. Play scales like that and really listen. That could help a lot. And like, you know, practicing long tones, loud and soft. I think we have a video about that where I do it.
Yeah, you do it in, exactly. Yeah. I think you reference that quite a bit sometimes. She says the vibrato is either in her throat or non-existent.
Okay, maybe check our video about vibrato. Yeah. Start very slowly. Don't try, because what I notice in students is that when you start vibrating, most people do it very well when it's slow. It's like, whoa, whoa. And when they start doing it faster, it goes up in the throat. You don't want that. So put your metronome at 60 and do 1 vibrato per beat, and then 2, and then 3. When you start feeling it going up, stop it. Then when you feel better, go up 1 click, you know, 63, and then 66, and then, you know, and then you go back down and you add another one. Let's say you stop at 3. Now you go to at 60 again, but you do 4. You do 1, 2, 3, 4 beats, like pulses per beat. And, you know, it's about being patient. Exactly. And keeping the throat open. And it's a vibrato. Someone asked what it is.
What exactly? That's what I was going to...
It's a variation in the intonation. Yep. So you raise or you lower the pitch. It's a pitch variation. Whoa, 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 whoa. I think it goes down a little bit. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah.
There we go. So hopefully that helps. I know a lot of people refer to the moise long tones, but basically it's just, you know, going from one note to another slowly and just kind of going.
And listening on your sound. It's a bit like a meditation on sound.
Yep. Yeah. Getting a deep association, like you said, with a tuner can help because, like you said, there's just once you know it's in tune, you're starting to develop like, oh, I know what I'm listening for. I know what I'm not listening for and stuff like that.
Because the flute is imperfect, and sometimes students, they play, let's say the low register is always too low, but then they always play it like that, so they end up hearing it like that. And when I put the tuner, they're like, oh my God, this note is too low. And then they make the association with what they see and what they hear, and they're like, oh, that's what it's supposed to sound like. And then your brain starts to learn it that way. And sometimes I leave my tuner on the stand while I practice a study or a piece. Just I peek once in a while, you know. Yeah.
And like I would say, even like, you know, like between overcoming like intermediate and advanced and stuff like that, I think maybe, you know, once you're at a very comfortable level of playing, you sort of realize, oh, I can go back to these other pieces that are so nice that are considered beginner or intermediate, but are like perfect those ones too, or not perfect them, but get them to the point of enjoyment that you really just love playing them all the time and stuff like that.
It's so interesting what you're saying, because like when you were students, we're so obsessed with playing the level 8 piece and then the level 9 piece, but when you're a professional, everything is just music, because you can play anything, but you don't see it as a level piece anymore. I don't know if you feel the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's like, I don't know, it's all music. I'll try to play it as well as I can, and that's it, you know. I don't see it as, I don't think the composers wrote it as a level 3 piece or a level 5 or a level 8. Exactly. That's not how they thought of it. So like you say, you can go back and perfect things, like play it with your new skills.
Yeah, exactly. So, be sure to leave more questions, everyone. It's always amazing to hear from you guys. And I'm just going to scrape through here again. What are some of your favorite intermediate pieces? Like I like the Swan and stuff like that. And some Bach sonatas are very nice to play. Handel's nice.
A lot of Fauré. I like Fauré.
Fauré is super cool
like
to get
the
into.
Sicilian, the Berceuse.
Yeah.
One that's so beautiful, Morceau de Concours.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
You can find that, I think, on Flute Tunes.
It sounds not, but like it's a slow piece, but some parts are fast. Like it's still a slow piece, but like da 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 da. Like if you don't have a good technique, that's not gonna sound seamless. It has to sound super easy, and it's not that slow when you play, but the tempo is slow, and it feels. I don't know. It's an amazing piece. It's so beautiful. But there's like, it's not that easy either. But yeah, it's a good intermediate piece, I think.
And it's good to have like levels. Like it's good to have these like beginner, intermediate, advanced. Like some people, they just find out about it, and they can be like, oh, where am I in that spectrum? Well, really, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep finding things. If you're being curious, if you don't have a teacher or anything like that, you're just looking for stuff that you just want to enjoy. Just learn them. Find out later if they're in lists and stuff like that, and then you can be like, oh, I'm around this level, sort of. You're not. It doesn't define you, the levels,
No.
at all. So keep that in mind when you're looking for things. But a lot of those pieces, like I said, you can find them on Flute Tunes, and you can really, and they even say like a level, or no, they say difficulty level. Like they go beginner, intermediate, advanced, and those are pretty okay.
But also like
for now,
sometimes also to bridge that gap, to get from intermediate to advanced, you need to learn a few advanced pieces. Maybe you're not going to master them right away, but by working on them,
of course,
that's also
totally
getting a bigger challenge will also make you get better. Like that's how I got better. I know like my teacher would give me a piece that was above my level, but I would work to get there, know.
Exactly.
I would work for months to get there on one piece, and then I would get better.
And there's like there are keystone pieces in beginner, in advance, or in intermediate, in advanced, like you said, in beginner. Telemann F major, that's a nice one that people really like to learn the whole thing too.
It's not beginner.
No, but
because
it's like F major is a really good scale
it's
to play with. It's like
because you have 16th notes and stuff. It's not totally beginner, but when I learned, I was in a music program and we did music. Like I played every day for an hour and 15 minutes.
Right.
Plus practicing, plus private lessons. So I learned fast just because I was in that environment,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
If you have someone who practices 3 times a day, 3 times a week, 30 minutes, they're probably not going to get there as fast.
Exactly.
And it's totally fine. Also, I love a lot of Baroque concertos are beautiful.
Exactly.
Like Vivaldi has a lot of beautiful concertos. Like some movements are very nice. They can be considered intermediate, I think.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Odyssey of Ascension, for $100. That's amazing.
Oh my
little
God,
tip.
thank you
can
so
leave
much.
tips again. That's really awesome.
That's
if you
very
think
generous.
so much, helps out a lot. But I just wanted to say quickly before that was, just find pieces that you like and enjoy, and just learn them. And that's what it was, like Telemann and stuff like that. A lot of those composers back then also were running schools, like schools of learning and stuff like that for music. They're not like as we know now, but there was conservatoriums and things like that.
I don't know about
or in the
Telemann.
Churches at least there were like
I know
a type
that
of music school.
Vivaldi was.
Yes.
He was working at La Pietà.
That's right.
But I don't know about the other ones. But
because there's a methodology to them though, because you know what I mean? Like when you look at like Telemann, like he wrote stuff that is progressive in a way, some things can be taken in a very progressive way.
Yeah.
And I'm sure was taken in a progressive way back then too.
And sometimes they had patrons that were musicians. They had to write stuff that their patrons were able to play.
That's right, because they were all just like
they were amateur musicians.
and they had to make stuff that made them feel like they can. Yeah,
another thing that's beautiful,
that's so
the Telemann fantasies, just because you talked about him.
Yeah.
And they're very short movements.
Yeah.
So you have slow and fast and all that stuff, all that in one, and they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, really, Roxanne,
nice.
You're so generous. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Very, very nice of you.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Felix wants to know, what is your favorite scale on the flute? There are so many different types of scales. I like all the world type of scales. I don't like the standard scales too much. I like, like
You like doing
and
different
playing
modes?
in modes. Yeah, playing in different modes and stuff. Super cool. You?
I don't know if it's like what type of exercise. I really like Reichert #1 to practice scales. I think it's nice because you have the scale and the arpeggio, and it's like a
Built
little
in.
melody. And I
Yeah.
also like EJ4 in Tafelin and Gobert. Yeah,
Those are
but
good.
yeah,
Solid foundations for.
in a
You
way,
can take
if
them a
you
long
know,
way.
like if you know, let's say you know your major scales and you want to play modes, really,
Modes, yeah.
they're like your like let's say all the modes like Dorian and Mixolydian and all that. Let's say you want to play D Dorian.
Yeah.
It's a C major scale starting on a D.
There
Like
you go.
if you know your C major scale, you know your D Dorian.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just the accent will be on another
Something
note.
else, yeah.
Like the tonic is now D, but
Yep.
the fingerings, like one finger going in after the other, is still the same.
Exactly.
So you don't have to relearn everything.
No.
Yeah.
Also, like you can I played it in the 3-hour music video, like 3 hours of flute music video. That's just flute. There's a lot of sections that are just modes. So
You
I do
improvised it, or
some are
you-
improvised, some are not, but it's just basically that. It's just like going through those modes. I play Telemon and some other stuff with modes and stuff. So it's really fun. You can do a lot of fun stuff.
There
with
are
that.
interesting Balinese mode and stuff that have
Yeah.
like semitones in some
Yeah.
spots, and like you can even invent some. You know,
Mhm.
you find like they're probably not invented; they probably exist
You
somewhere.
can even play
but
along with some
you don't need to
recordings
know,
and
like,
just learn.
you just
Yeah.
you can make up something you
You
like.
don't have
and
to
just
go there.
improvise with that.
Yeah, you don't have to go there. You can just listen. There's some
Oh,
tracks
yeah.
and just play with them.
Of
That's so
course,
much
of
fun, I'm
course.
sure.
Yeah.
What's the highest note a flute can reach? Well, flute can reach pretty high. D, E, F. I've heard G once,
Oh, yeah.
but I've heard F a lot.
F. Yeah.
F8? F8 or F7? I don't remember.
I always forget
like-
the
it's like-
numbers,
well,
but the
it's like-
very high F.
If I associate with piano, it's F8.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
never seen in a piece any higher than a D sharp. That's
Yeah.
the highest I've had to play
There's some
in a
contemporary
piece, but I know
concertos,
that
yeah.
some have higher
Yeah,
than
modern concertos, some people put it in there.
that. Yeah.
But then piccolo can go even double that. Or no, higher. One.
Maybe like a B or C.
Yeah, pretty high. I know some
Yeah,
people have
but-
made piccolos that can play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh,
they're
I
like,
don't
but
wanna
they're
play
not.
that.
No, it's too
Oh my
high. It
God.
makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
maybe it does. I don't know.
like, yeah, I need
Yeah.
very good earplugs.
Yeah,
if
you
you're
need
gonna-
earplugs.
Yeah.
Earplugs are super important no matter what. Even if you're playing in a big orchestra, there are now earplugs that can still keep all the fidelity that you need when you're playing and still save your hearing.
Even
I'm very sensitive
when
to that
practicing,
stuff. And, yeah,
I noticed if I practice a lot, my right ear,
sure. That's where it's getting
I'm getting
most
older,
of
I
the.
guess, and I can feel it, like it's getting tired.
Sure.
And sometimes I put a plug just in that one because
Yeah.
like you get
Gives it a
more
rest,
sound
yeah,
on that
yeah.
side. It gives it a rest, and sometimes I put on both ears, but usually just one ear, and it helps tremendously.
Yeah.
I found new earplugs that I really like. I don't remember the name, but what's the
Yeah.
name? Eros something.
I don't know,
like
but we can leave it.
Yeah.
If you really want to know about it, leave a question in the comments, and we'll put it in the description as well. We'll leave a link to the Amazon.
because like I felt that when you put earplugs, sometimes it feels like you resonate in your head, like your
feels
voice.
like you put two pillows behind your pillow, so you have this head voice type of thing, right?
Yeah.
A resonation. You said resonation. A resonate, yeah.
Yeah, resonance. Like
Resonance, yeah.
it kind
Sorry.
of resonates in your head. And with those, I don't feel it as much. Like it's pretty comfy. So I'm happy about that.
Oh, we have some super good questions, and I was going to talk about this actually, hopefully next month if we get this chance to do it for the head joints. But Catfish wants to know: could you please say a little bit about head joints? How do the different metals react, and are wooden head joints worth the money? So our opinions are just our opinions. Really, it's about your feeling towards when you try them all out. Try them all out if you have that. If you have that ability to do that. Flute head joints come in various different sizes, thicknesses, metals, and materials, and it can go. The customization is virtually limitless, but that's also a crutch because trying to get those head joints to you can be hard. But that's why, like Flute Center of New York, you can get flutes sent to you or head joints sent to you, and you can try them and then send them back. And you can use our code TFC or also call them and use our code, and they'll help you out. They'll give you all the assistance they can give. But our general, or at least my general opinion with metal and wood, metal and wood are inherently very different.
Yeah.
Like, they do give a different sound. When you're looking at metals between other metals, that's where ease of use for the performer, and also how they cut it, also the thickness of the metal, because some head joints, they use a thicker metal or they use a thinner metal, and whether the contact points at the head joint to the barrel are good enough. So most of the time they're not, so you have to bring it back to the person to fit it and make sure that the person, usually the fitter or the person who's going to fit it, make sure that it really is fitted, so they can get as much as the consistency as possible of that head joint and all of its qualities. Also, there's stuff in the mouthpiece, which is a riser inside the mouthpiece, and that can be a different material as well, and a different cut as well.
So it's
inside.
how it's made
Really
is really important.
And also, like, the head joint, the cork, if there's a cork, whether they use a synthetic cork now, because synthetic is now new, much more in using like plastic Delrin and washers to use the head joint instead of the cork, because cork tends to shrink and then you have to replace it and then you lose its fidelity even more. But with a Delrin, you never have to change it. You only have to change the rings, the O-rings basically, which is, you can change them yourself and they're very, very cheap. And then there's like new and old technologies. Like, there's a flute back here that I have that has a fipple, or I forget what it's called exactly, but there's a black flute there, has a little triangle inside that's curved inside, and it they used to use it in flutes too, and they still do in some, and you can it makes the tone more it controls a lot of pitches and higher frequencies better, because when you're making stuff in there, there's so many different, the point is basically is that there's so many different types of things that you could look for. Silver is basically the standard. And also, like, people are experimenting things. Like, right now, I'm trying to experiment stuff with 3D printing and, like, making new stuff for the head joints, and see how that works with the flute and how we can, do different things. But you can try, platinum head joints, gold head joints. There's so many different types. But wooden head joints, I would encourage almost every flutist to have one, because it's
I would like to have
it really
one.
gives a...
I really would love that.
Yeah, but we're going to do a whole entire thing about head joints next month, I hope.
Yeah. But, like,
talking about that.
yeah, like, we try to... it's a bit complicated with the cut and the thickness and all that stuff. So
totally.
people like to feel, if I get gold, it's better than silver or something.
No,
Like,
that's not the case.
oversimplified like that, but it's more complicated than that. And also, some people sound better on silver than on gold, and some people sound better on gold. Like, it depends on how you play. So try a couple.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you use our code TFC with the Flute Center of New York, it helps us out, and also you get some perks. And thank you so much to everyone who uses it.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people who use it, so thank you. We appreciate.
And so, like, again, and I know I've been doing a lot of research on this, and it's actually quite interesting, and I'm trying to find, like, flute companies that used to make or still do or not, I don't know, like, but like having a one-piece flute or a two-piece flute, because the more sections you cut,
the more
you
leaks
lose,
you can...
not leaks, but you just lose resistance. You lose contact with, like, two metals touching is not the same as one that's fused together. Mm-hmm. And that can make a big difference from what I've learned in a lot of historical
and that's
research.
why some people put those things...
Yeah, like the lib freck and all those things like that. That again is not confirmed. Like, I don't know anything about those things, but what I do know is that it doesn't bridge the connection, because you're just putting now a third piece of metal, which is actually degrading quality in a way. From
you're
what I know,
adding another piece of metal.
Now, now I don't want to cause any type of, like, if you have one, that's cool. If you like it and it works for you, that's fantastic. But there is a lot of science and hard science about that. But what I'm trying to do is doing the reverse, trying to find flutes that are one piece, because that would be amazing to hear how you would play on it and stuff like that.
Tough to
but
transport. But, like, I guess if
not
you
really.
made
people have bassoon cases and people have big cases.
if you made
what's
a
the
case
difference?
that a cylinder instead of what we have, you could have a one-piece flute, put it in there, and it would be totally safe.
Yeah. And if there was a way to figure out sort of like the glissando head joint, which has, the mouthpiece can move around, but if you can move the mouthpiece the other direction, these are, like, really, really huge ideas that I'm trying to kind of figure out. and see if somebody else has already figured that out. But I have heard about 1-piece flutes or 2-piece flutes, and that's what I'm trying to look for and see how we can kind of look at that at a sound production level. Because once you start cutting things get very weird, and that's why we have to adjust the flute a lot, because the flute is in constant adjustment. But I've heard really wonderful things about that. But head joints are amazing. Try as many as you can. A lot of makers make great ones, and it's all up to the trier and the person who's playing, because your ability can only match to what what you have already at that point. Like, that head joint could grow with you. It could be a very fantastic head joint, but you're not even touching its possibilities. But you know that there's possibilities because of the artisan that made the head joint with the cuts and everything. And other people who've played on it. Find out what other people are playing on. Like you have a Wimberley head joint, which is not a basic head joint for the Prima Sankoy flute that you have. It's separate. You have to go and you went and got that from somewhere else.
And I had to have it fitted as well. Because it was a bit tinier,
sure.
and you had to... Yeah, but I think I love my my mix,
and it works. Yeah, mixes are great. Like, that's totally okay. Sometimes the head joints are... The one that you get works perfectly well too. It's all that matter of that. Same thing with your Yamaha piccolo. You have a Yamaha piccolo. You have a Sankoy alto flute, which has the alto flute head joint that's part of that. Like, it's the head joint that came with it.
Yeah, I didn't get another head joint.
There's,
same with my piccolo.
Same with your piccolo.
It sounds okay.
Yeah,
it sounds totally fine.
Yeah,
I like it.
And
I think I want to make a few piccolo videos, like
piccolo videos.
Yeah,
we want to make
like
some piccolo stuff soon too, and it's so fantastic, and it's Ricky wants to know. Great question here, because it's Festive thing, and I think this is the last one before the holidays, the podcasts, because I think December 31st is Sunday or something like that. It's like we're gonna have a New Year's Eve. We'll have a New Year's Eve. If it's that day, I'm not sure. I have to double check. But he wants to know: have you got any recommendations for a festive performance, not Jingle Bells type of pieces, but something like Somewhere Only You Know, or Somewhere Only We Know, or The Snowman? Oh, there's a lot of great arrangements, and you can also make your own arrangements of a lot of
also on flutetunes.com,
there's a lot of Christmas
if
stuff.
you check on Christmas, you have Christmas stuff, and you have some that are, and then you can search by
Tom Play has stuff too.
Easy, and
and those are backtracks.
That's amazing, because you have the backtracks.
Yeah, you have the backtracks, and also check the violin section and stuff like that. Check those if you have a pass. If you have I think the sale already ended for autumn, but you can get a year service, so you can have access to all of their things. And it's not just the flute; you can have access to everything. So go check violin, go check voice for holidays. They have a lot of cool holiday things that you can play, especially right now, being at home and being, if you're in seclusion right now. This is the best one. And you can make recordings and send it out to people. You can even record everything and do a live stream and play that recording, so you don't have to have that, sometimes when we play live, we get nervous and stuff. Maybe you want to have a bit more control. Record all of it and then broadcast it to your family.
Yeah.
That way you feel comfortable. You're sitting there watching with them or whatever.
Yeah.
That could be fun too. We should use our technology to our advantage, and it might make you a better player because you get to prepare something.
Totally. And
sorry, I interrupted you.
You didn't.
Okay.
I don't remember that. No, it's because when you talk, you inspire me. You give me ideas.
Yeah.
No, but I love the idea of Tom Play, and I think it makes practicing with other instruments, it makes you a better player. Because it's easy when you play on your own to make this note a little bit longer than it should be, and this one a bit shorter, and then you're not really respecting the rhythm. When you play with a recording like that, you have to really work on that. And with confinement and everything, if you're always playing on your own, you don't get to work on that type of thing. So it's a good, and also the piece was composed to be played. Let's say you're playing a piece for flute and piano. It was composed to be played like that, not just...
Sure.
The composer didn't have just one part in mind. It's as if you were playing the flute part of a symphony. It's not the symphony itself. So it's a very good way to practice, even when we'll be back to normal and play with other people, to practice hearing the other part while you're playing the whole thing, playing your part. So you know what you're doing in there musically.
Exactly. Yeah, and there's a lot to that, so you can really find what you want. But what I did for the holidays, particularly this year, because I was looking for holiday pieces for us and stuff like that. And, you know, there's look at albums. Like there's a lot of albums, like holiday albums, like Dolly Parton, or there's other people like that have lists of that they do. And there a lot of them are traditional, which is really cool because then you could find the music and it's usually free or close to free. But there's also popular songs that are renditions of new songs, and you can definitely find, you know, C melody charts of those songs and play those, you know, like those are super fun. Like play what's popular, play what's fun, and that's that, you know, like Jingle Bells and stuff is fun too, but maybe there's a cool arrangement of it.
Old pieces, like British, that are nice, you know.
Oh yeah, there's so many, like, and
like
it's yeah, and there's even like Hanukkah songs. There's all types of different, for all the festive songs from all the different types of places. There's so many cool ones,
different
and
cultures,
and it's already inherently impressive. You know, we always want to play something that's like, you know, variations and, you know, it's super fun pieces, but like the classics are always the classics for a reason, because it brings memories of every year past and family and stuff like that.
Family and friends,
exactly, that's an amazing present to give to people. No matter how little, no matter how long the program is or whatever, or the album that you're going to make, it's a wonderful thing to do and good for you. But hopefully we gave you some recommendations. But like I said, flute tunes, tom play, you can always find stuff in those places, which is pretty cool. Hopefully we'll
even on
arrange a couple
YouTube
things.
you have some accompaniments sometimes.
You're so right. There's quite a bit.
If you search, you can find a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I think I might have missed a couple questions. If you think I did, be sure to leave them again. We'll have a few more minutes.
Some
and
people
then
are nice and answer each other.
Yeah, I know. I love
That's
that. Thanks,
amazing.
everybody. It's like a really great community here. But yeah, what are we going to be planning for next month? We have 2 videos plus a podcast. One with the joke thing about talking about. You have one about some. I tell you some jokes, some musical jokes, and you react to them. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then we have another one, which is a really cool one about the 3 ways. What was it again? 3 ways to prepare, or no? Oh, what was it? Oh my gosh. We did another video that day. That's going to be coming out next week. Or next week. One will come out next week. It was like preparedness or something like that. What was it? Do you remember?
I have a complete blank.
So much.
I worked too hard.
Yeah. Anyways, but we have those videos coming out, and then we have the Vivaldis coming out.
We have to finish the Vivaldis.
The 2 Vivaldis. Vivaldi, not winter.
Summer and fall.
And that'll be done.
We have to do that.
The Vivaldi cycle will be almost complete, and then we have some other Vivaldis for flute.
Yeah.
Like the piccolo thing, that'll be cool.
I think, I just need my piccolo to be seen by the technician, and then I'll record it.
Yeah, exactly. And then, and if you guys have any ideas for future videos, we're trying to do as many as we can in advance, because if things pick up again, once everything's back to normal, you know, we want to be sure that everybody gets their we give out videos and we're not overwhelmed with stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Because right now it's been pretty good, and we're really happy with everybody and the reactions with all the videos. Like the last video we did was really great. If you haven't seen it, and you have if you're doing your dishes or doing whatever, put that out and you get to listen to, you know, flute solo or solos on flute. That's a really great
that's
fun time.
fun.
That's a really great video.
Yeah.
It's long, but it's worth it. And I know a lot of euphonium players were messaging on the thing because we included euphonium, and no one ever includes it. They were like ecstatic, and that's always cool. And also the Rossini is really, that turned out so well. The Rossini variations. I want to do the Schubert variations.
Not easy, this one.
Yeah, I want to do Schubert variation. Oh yeah, it's so much fun. Yeah, Schubert.
And then when you add the trills, it's like, oh my god.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But it was fun.
Those are some the variations are always fun to play, like Schubert or
it's tough to
the other
always
one too.
be like, let's say you play with tom play, it's tough to always be exactly with
I
it,
know.
because in life, like,
it's really
if you play with
tool.
a musician, they're gonna know where you breathe, and you can talk and be like, I'm gonna breathe here, and you can follow each other. Yeah.
Like we did our best because we cut and paste it, we produce it. It's a production.
It's not perfect. Like there's spots where I'm not exactly, but it doesn't matter. Like you do your best because it's a tool, but it can't be a perfect tool because music is not like that. Like you have to express yourself a little bit. So
it's not AI driven, you know.
But you have to make it make a compromise between being very between being with the accompaniment and also having a little bit of space to express yourself. And like, I think you need that compromise. You can't, or it's going to be boring in a way, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
As long as you're still together somehow, but even if one thing is not, it's okay.
Exactly.
Because in real life, there's a way to rehearse with other musicians that will take care of that.
Oh my gosh, totally, exactly. Exactly. I saw a question here. What do we got here? Okay, two of them, Ricky. One that I find really beautiful is the Advent Prelude from Callahan's 2 liturgical preludes for flute and organ. Oh, I know those. Those are good. Flute and organ is so beautiful. And we're going to get a new piano soon that has organ on it.
Yeah.
That is going to be a load of fun. We're going to have a lot of stuff with that.
I'm going to record some stuff.
It's amazing. And
maybe
harpsichord too.
Flute
and maybe harpsichord too.
Would be cool.
Yeah. Because I want to play those types of things, sonatas and stuff like that with those instruments. Because those instruments are really, really cool.
Yeah.
And you get to hear more of that. Would we be possible to perform it? We will look into it because I've heard it. It's really, really, really good. I'll show it to you. I don't think you know it, do you?
I don't think so.
No, but
I'm very curious about it.
Ricky also wants to know, are you open to the possibility of having a flute channel virtual flute choir project? I thought about that a while ago. It's totally something that we're willing to do.
It's a lot of work for
it's a lot of work
to do all the...
But it could be a lot of fun. We might associate it with in our flute day that we might be doing soon. We closed the newsletter application because we had people chime in on a form. If you want, you can email us. I can put you on that newsletter, and then those would be the people we would include in something like that or the day, and do a I would most likely do a pre-record type of thing.
Yes, of course.
And not do live.
No.
But a pre-record would be great, and also even just do rehearsals live-ish would be cool, so that people we'll see. I would love to do it. There are some really cool pieces
we wanted
that we
to
could
do like a couple of flute days every year.
Yeah, we want to do
where we can do kind of a masterclass type of thing with people
and discussions all virtually for
but
right
not
now.
not like a stuck-up masterclass. I mean, with the
just like how we're doing right now. Like how we're doing, you play for us, and we.
It doesn't have to be a piece. It can be anything. It can
be
be
an aspect of your
excerpt,
playing.
a study, or it can be just. I want to get better vibrato. I want to get better high notes. I want
or like long tones,
very open type
exactly.
of thing where we just work together. And sometimes by seeing how other people learn, you learn so much yourself. That could be very interesting.
Yeah, if you want to be part of the newsletter for the Flute Day thing, we haven't released a newsletter because we're trying to prepare everything and make things work well for scheduling and stuff. Just email us at info@theflutechannel.com, or go on our About page on the YouTube and you can find our email there, and I'll put you on the newsletter. No problem. Hello, Alanis. He wanted us to mention you. No problem. But yeah, I think this is about the end of the show. What a great question to end off on. Yeah, flute choir would be great. We'll definitely think about it more. Hopefully we'll do something in the winter time. Hopefully before
you should compose
spring.
a piece for flute
No,
choir.
there's plenty of flute choir pieces.
There's
so many, and there's so many easy stuff. So
yeah, I know. And
but,
even there's little arrangements that are so cute. When we did the flute festival, the Montreal Flute Festival, I just took a couple of arrangements of like Mozart arias and stuff for 2 or 3 flutes and a couple of cannons, and we did that just as a warm-up.
Mm-hmm.
People
Super
liked
cool.
it because it starts like the day well. It sounds beautiful. Everyone feels like and then we start working. I thought it was so fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing complicated.
Nope.
Everyone could do it, sight reading, and like I don't know. I think it broke the ice pretty well. I was happy about that.
Yeah, and we really want to make an experience like that as connected as possible. Like when we do so I'm really trying to find things that are low latency so that we have virtually no latency between the player and you, and but we're gonna have workarounds and stuff. It's just a tedious process to figure out, and making sure everybody does give instructions for the festival. There's a lot of stuff, but it'll be something pretty affordable for people for the whole day. We're gonna try to put it to a nice budget friendly option, but you said, it's going to be
also part of what we want to do. That's also why we made the book we made.
Yes,
the method.
Mm-hmm.
We gave it a price that's affordable, and also everything's there. You don't need to buy 5 books.
No, exactly.
You can learn the flute with that.
Yeah.
Learn how to read music. Learn how to read rhythms. It's all there.
Exactly.
We want to make things. I think if more people play music, the world is a better place.
Exactly.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, totally. And the next method will be coming out hopefully at the end of the year. And that's going to be the biggest method that we've made. And it's going to be really, really big, full of everything that you need for most of your journey as a flute player. And it's going to be budget friendly as well too, and very fun, and just
there's going to be a lot in there.
There's going to be a lot.
It's a big
It's
one.
at least 100 pages
was
worth
inspired.
of content, which is great, and 20 lessons. And with those lessons, there's going to be pieces on top of that, and lots of review and lots of rhythm, lots of theory, stuff like that. So keep your eyes out on that. That's going to be coming out hopefully at the beginning of the year.
I don't think I put that much theory,
You put a
but I
little
put
bit.
like sight reading exercises and some rhythm reading exercises, and then a lot of sound technique.
Yes.
And I really put it so that it's easy to digest. You
Yeah,
know?
and that you can apply it to theory. You can apply it to other stuff. Like
yeah.
you really can learn a lot more. And it's basically like it's like the beginner method on steroids, and just has more
It's more
advanced
like-
content.
It's bringing you to a late intermediate level, let's say.
Oh,
on
at
the
least
flute. Like
the very
after
least.
that, you just work it a little bit, and you're an advanced
Yeah,
player.
because I think
know?
you learn up to C, to high C, and stuff
You
like
learn
that.
all the important
All the important
fingerings,
notes.
like and then there's a lot of pieces and studies,
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
pretty
So yeah. Also, be sure to check out our store. Like we have our new new Lung
cool. long.
Lung Lung shirt. And that's pretty cool. And you find that on the Teespring store.theflutechannel.com. Use our code TFC10 until December 31st. You get 10% off. Just as a little thank you for everybody. And that's on all the stuff there, including the shirt and our posters and stuff like that. And also, if you want our method, go to musigy.com, MOUSOGY. It's all in the description.com. And that's where you can find our method and any sheet music. We have our 24th Caprice that you arranged, and hopefully we'll do some more arrangements and put that
I
all
was
there.
thinking about some cello, and
Yeah,
I
we'll
have
see.
ideas.
And yeah, that's about it, I think.
We don't
What
like
else?
ideas. We like time.
We like time. We need time. Give us more time.
More time in
But,
a day, but we need to sleep.
Exactly. We need to sleep though. But yeah, thanks also again for 100,000 subscribers. That's this what a milestone. Pretty
Oh, yeah.
amazing. 5 years of
So
work
exciting.
and help from you guys. Amazing help from you guys.
Yeah, and generosity.
And generosity from everybody. And what else? We do this every month. If you're first joining on, it's the first time and you're just bumping in right now at the end of the show, be sure to
Come
go and
back next
subscribe.
month.
The last Sunday of every month, we do this and we do a nice live show. Leave a comment below this video if you have a question so we can answer that next time. Also, leave us a voicemail over on the Anchor app, ANCHOR. I'm so bad at spelling like that. But anchor.fm/flute. That's where you can leave us a voicemail, or follow us on the Anchor app and leave us a voicemail right on your phone, and we might play that back during the show or answer your question during the show as well. So yeah, thanks everybody. This was a great little podcast. As always, please also leave a review over at Apple Podcasts. That is a big help for us. Wherever you are in the world, leave us a review on your page there. And yeah, you can find us anywhere you want to listen to podcasts. So thanks everybody. Drop us a like as well too on this video. And thanks guys so much.
Thank you.